Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back again to this financial series that we are offering at Neighborhood Trust, Federal Credit Union. As you know me, my name is Rosa Franco. I am the Director of Lending, and today I'm very happy to have Nazaret Perez.
Thank you.
She is our Officer in Marketing and Communications, and it's really good to have this sequence of topics that we are talking about. And as you remember, or if you didn't, we had the first week everything related to how to improve and establish credit. And last week we discussed about how Neighborhood Trust offers different tools in terms of loans and credit lines that can be utilized for different purposes. Today, we are going to discuss about how to increase your sales. Nazaret is going to present everything related to marketing, but just wanted to remind you that one of the best investments you can do for your business is actually related to how to implement tools and especially a marketing strategy so you can really have more benefits and improve the profit of the business. So with no more introduction, Nazaret, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Rosa, for having me. I'm excited for this webinar. I hope you're able to get some tips and some tools to be able to get your product and services to more customers.
Great. So let's start with the presentation. Now, since we are live, this is coming. Fantastic. So,
Okay. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. And again, as Rosa had introduced me, my name is Nazaret Perez. I'm the Associate of Marketing and Communications here at Neighborhood Trust. And the point of this presentation is to able to provide you some tips and some tools to help you increase the sales of your products and services. So some of the key point takeaways that I hope you are able to capture from this presentation is what is marketing, where to start, working your plan, building your brand, interacting with your consumers, and tools that are able to help you. So we're gonna start off with what is marketing. So marketing is engaging and building strong relationships with your consumers to create value in order to capture value in return. What does this mean? For example, here at Neighborhood Trust, we work and service individuals and businesses in order to provide them with access to capital for them to grow and hit their goals in life. And in return, we're able to have a long relationship with them as members through having a deposit account here or through the loans in order to capture fees, in order to continue growing as an organization and continue providing these financial services to our community to continue growing as well. So where do we start? You have a congratulations on your business. You have a product or service that you want to provide to the community. And now is taking that to life and putting it into action. So in order to begin, you want to understand who is your consumer, who is actually going to be purchasing your product or services. And you have to kind of put yourself in their mindset. What do they think? What do they need? How do they think? Where are they shopping? Why are they purchasing your product and service? So as I mentioned before, our consumer here at Neighborhood Trust are individuals and businesses within a geographical area that we're able to help them to achieve financial freedom and to get those goals that they want in life. Then from there, we move on to the consumer-centric marketing strategy. What does this mean? How does your product or service will improve your customer's work or life? We understand that as humans, we have certain goals that we want, and we work to acquire, money. And then from there, in terms of our products and services, as Neighborhood Trust, we're able to help individuals and services moving from building credit. So they come to us and they're building or improving the credit score through our credit builder loan. They want to purchase a vehicle. They're able to do that through our car loans. They want to purchase a home. We're able to finance their property through mortgages or refinancing through our home lending product. So once you know who your customer are and how your product and service will improve, now you have to create a plan, an action plan on how you will position this product and how will you reach them. So you know how your consumers, who your consumers are, where they're shopping, how they're getting to your products. So we're able to have more of an idea on where exactly you want to place these messages or content in order for your consumers to be aware of your business and your product and the services that you're providing. And if you have any questions, as we go along, feel free to drop the questions on the chat box. And that way, by the end of the presentation, we're able to answer some of the questions that you have available. So plan your work and work your plan. So now you know your consumer, you know how your product or service is going to improve or change their lives. So how are we going to reach them? How are we going to do that? You have a product, you have a service, you know the pricing, how much you're going to be charging your consumer. The next step is, do you have a commercial space, or are you working from a place that you're not having consumers come in, but they have to reach you via online? As you know, because of the pandemic last year, everybody was unable to meet, unfortunately, but we were able to change our engagement digitally, and more businesses were able to create websites and use other channels in order to reach their consumers and provide the value that they need and make that sales transaction to them. So one of the things that I emphasize the most is having your own website is very beneficial, and also in terms of digital channels, I know there's other ways that you could promote, which we're gonna get more into this, with the social media channels such as Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. The reason why I emphasize the website a lot is because that's your hub where customers are able to come in and make that transaction with you having to rely on other networks if something were to happen. So on Monday, actually, Facebook had an outage, and Facebook owns Instagram, and they also own WhatsApp. So anyone that's actually conducting business through those channels, because their platform was down, people were not able to communicate with the consumers, and they were not able to close those deals that they needed. So I really emphasize on having a standalone website that you're able to make changes, make edits, and update. And if something were to happen, you're able to have more control of your website and your business. There's some tools that I'm going to be touching on later on where to host your website. There's platforms that you're able to pay a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription. Is pretty easy to maintain, and you're able to have more control on making those digital sales on there versus relying on another network. As we continue on, we have two different type of channels. You could either be online, and some of this, as I mentioned before, could be your website. You could create emails where you can inform your consumers of new products, features or that you have, new updates for your business, or anything new, any new and exciting news that you want to provide to your customers. You're able to do that through email. You also could do this through text messages and as well as social media or blogs if you want to get more, provide more information on the type of products that you have and create more value on how those products and services are able to enhance your consumers' life. We also have for the online channels, digital ads, which one of the biggest one is advertising through Google. Google are able to create close that gap between your consumer and driving them to your store if you do have a commercial space, and reaching out to more consumers outside of your area, targeting depending on your zip code or a particular geographic area that you want to focus on. For offline methods, you're able to create business cards whenever you are at a networking event or a trade show. That information that you want to provide, one-on-one contact that could reach you directly, a business card. You'll also be able to create brochures and pamphlets that you're able to list all the products and services that you have available. You're able to advertise through the newspaper or direct mail, which is when you have specific targets within an area and you're able to send either your brochure or even a postcard that it give you more details of your business and services directly to your consumer. So it goes directly to the home. Actually, USPS have a program that you're able to select a street or a specific area based on the zip code. And from there, you could kind of narrow down on who you want to target based on the area, a particular income that you want to reach, or the type of business, if it's individuals or you're doing business to business.
So in that case, Nazareth, the way that you choose the way that you choose what's the channel, it depends on the audience and who you identify as your customers, right?
Correct. So that's why it's really important to understand who your customer is. Because if your customer is mainly using an offline channels and they prefer having a business card or a handout newsletter or a brochure, it wouldn't make as much of impact to that core of customers for you to start spending your marketing dollars into digital ads. That will be expanding on your market. So if you see that the offline methods are working well, I'm getting traction because I'm going to networking events and I'm providing my business cards, and because of that, I'm sustaining my business, but now I want to grow and I want to reach more people, then let's switch and do more online, having an online presence.
Great.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good. That's a good question. Again, once you're able to go digitally, and depending on the size of your team, there's actually tools that you're able to put into place to better engage with your customer, to provide better customer service. I know now because everybody is able to reach someone else via phone. Everybody has a cell phone at this moment for the most part. So you're able to, if you are engaging digitally online and customers are reaching you via email, and you're, being a business owner, you're not able to just sit on the computer and reply to everyone at the same time. We're able to automate those responses. So is there a day that you're going to be completely out because you have to focus on creating or setting certain plans for your business? You're able to automate this customer service. For example, creating templates when customer reaches out to you via email, they're able to receive a response, you're currently not available at the moment and you will be answering back within 24 hours. For the most part, what customer wants is to be seen, to be heard. Sometimes you're not able to provide an answer right away, but if you're able to provide that initial contact that you're working on it, most of these customers are gonna stay and wait for your response. Also, there are analytical tools and reporting that are able to give you an idea on what's working or not. Across the board, your website, the social media channels, if you do have a business, if you do have a business account on there, if you certify that as a business instead of an individual, they provide with demographics on who's actually looking at your site, where are they coming from, if you do have a website and they're going from your social media to your website, they be able to tell you where is that traffic coming from. The age, they'll have certain age, where geographical area, if they're coming from the United States, specifically like certain states. So you'll have a better idea on who are you servicing and kind of tailoring your channels on what you want to use. If it makes sense, you have more of a preference of a presence on Facebook versus Instagram. You could kind of test and learn what's working and what's not working in order to adjust and make sure that what's working you continue doing more of, and what's not working, what are those minor changes or major changes that you need to make in order to continue building and growing your presence and your business. Okay. So now you figure out who your consumer is, how your product or service is gonna change their life or adding value to their life. And you've decided, okay, this is how I'm gonna target and where I'm gonna create my presence, the channels that you're gonna be focusing on. Now we're gonna move into branding. Branding is all the ways you establish an image of your company in your customer's eyes. So this is where you make more of an emotional connection with your consumers about your brand. This is your logo. Once they see your logo, they're able to recognize, okay, this is a business, I know what they do. Is the colors that you use as well. For example, I have the Neighborhood Trust logo on there. And if you were to see just the letters NT in those specific colors, if you have seen our logo before, you're gonna have brand awareness that that is Neighborhood Trust. So how do you build your brand? So your brand is creating the messaging and connecting more with your consumers. So what does your company does? What products and services are you offering to them? What makes you unique? Embracing those differences, making sure that you set yourself apart from your competitors, sharing your values and beliefs. Why your team is amazing. People relate to others. So introducing your team, letting your customer know who is behind your brand is very important. Why should people support you? This is sharing your story. Tell people why you started your business, how you make an impact in your community. These are the things that are able to resonate with other people, and they're able to people remember stories, they relate to other people. So next time when they think of a product, they'll have that brand awareness of your product or business. And when they do need that product or service that you're providing, we hope that that's based on your story and the way that you're conveying that message is gonna stick in their mind, and then you're gonna be the first business brand that they're gonna go to when thinking of that product or service. So this is just a little example on when creating a campaign, a marketing campaign. So the first, now at this moment, you're aware of who your audience is, who your consumers is, where you're gonna be creating and providing this information, the channels that you're gonna be using. And at this point, you have your logo and you have the colors that you wanna be utilizing in order to create that brand presence. Now is, okay, how do I apply this and how to make sure that I have this product and then it's gonna get to the customer and I'm gonna make money. Because at the end of the day, that's the point of the business, is to stay sustainable. So the first thing is thinking of a SMART goal. So making sure that I'm gonna go through an example as we go. You think of the goal that you want with your product or service, choosing the photos and design, the messaging that you're gonna convey, uploading the content, and then engaging with the followers. So for example, here at Neighborhood Trust, we have a goal of providing working capital for a business. We wanna make sure that in the next 3 months, we're able to provide 50 businesses with up to $15,000 for working capital. That's our goal as a credit line. Yeah, working capital as a credit line or a loan. So that's our goal for the next 3 months. Now that we're aware of that, we know who our audience is in this instance is businesses. And we wanna have that message is gonna be going through our members via MailChimp, which is our communication platform for emails. We're also going to be creating advertising to go on our social media platforms. And we're also going to be using Google Ads in order to reach those businesses in particular zip codes. And we're going to do direct mail. So we're going to be sending out a postcard to businesses within a specific area. So those are the channels that we're going to be using. Then from there, we're going to be choosing the photos and designs based on those channels. You could have the same picture. Maybe you have to resize depending on the platform that you use. Not every channel uses the same size of the format. And it's okay if you don't know about this. When you go on those platforms, they do tell you the images that you're able to upload there. If you have an image that's too big, they'll prompt you with a message that's saying that you have to make it smaller. And some of these platforms, they do already have those features in place that you're able to edit that content on there. Once you have the content and you have the message, which could be the caption or the description that you're going to put on those channels, you're able to, automate this. If you're gonna doing this in batch, doesn't necessarily be that you're gonna create everything one day and send out everything at the same time. A lot of these platforms, again, are able to have these features that you're able to schedule when you want it to go out. The only difference will be when in terms of the offline channels, which either you are giving this yourself to the consumers, or you're using services such as USPS to distribute the postcards or the brochures that you have. And then last, but one of the most important is engaging with your followers. You're gonna have your consumers reaching out to you. They might have additional questions on your products and services. Just keeping them engaged and answering the questions that they have as quickly as possible. And you might not have a specific question, you might get some feedback from customers. That's also very good, because if you were to hear from multiple customers something needs to change, you're able to adjust those changes. And then next time, you're still working on this goal for a couple of months, you're able to make those changes. And then let's say the following month, you're able to adjust and make those changes to the content or the description, or how you're working on providing the information back to your consumers. So interacting with your consumers, as I mentioned before, this is really important because at the end of the day, you're converting people. People are actually buying your product and service. So we want to make sure you always interact with your followers, your consumers. This could be in person, this could be digitally across any platform that you use. Usually, you want to make sure that when they're engaging and you're getting questions, you're quickly able to respond to these inquiries. Sometimes if you wait too long, you might lose the customer or they might go somewhere else because they were interested in your product and services, but it took a little bit longer than expected to get an answer and they just kind of went with another option. Making sure that if you are doing online orders, making sure that it's going swift, it's very easy, and you're able to assist them if there's any problems. I know technology it's really helpful in creating allowing the customer to finalize that sale, but sometimes there's always errors or like maybe you created a special code and that's not working for your customer. Making sure that when they're in the final stages of closing or converting that sale, that you're able to assist them as quickly as possible. Making sure you deliver on your promises and keeping the customer delighted. That doesn't mean you have to deal with any disrespect or toxic behavior from your customers. But as long as you're interacting with your customer, you're providing the value and the product or services that they need, they're gonna be coming back and continuing purchasing from you. So these are some of the marketing tools that we use here at Neighborhood Trust. For example, here we have Shopify and Squarespace. These are platforms that you're able to create your website on there, and you're able to, if you are actually selling a product or service, you're able to connect, for example, your bank account on there so you could make a direct sale. You have your product, you have able to put your pricing on there, and automatically the customer wants it, they'll purchase directly, and you're able to get that sales, and it will automatically your fee or the pricing for the product or services will be automatically transferred into your bank account. Just keep in mind that for these, particularly for websites and products that are actually doing a transaction, there's always going to be a fee. So just make sure that you take a look at the fees and compare. These are not the only two out there. There's more. But if you need more assistance, they're able to provide you with assistance on creating or connecting you with creators that are able to create your website and giving you more insight on their products and the features that they have available there. We also use Google Analytics. This gives a better idea on digitally when looking at a website, who's actually coming to a website, what pages are they looking at, ages, and more of the demographic of our consumer. So you have more of an idea. Maybe you initially created a profile for your customers, and based on what you're attracting online, it might look different. Maybe you started out in 18 to 24 years old, and now that you're looking at the Google Analytics, you have a drive of more of like 25 to 34 years old. So you're able to make those changes when it comes to the content and the messaging and the value, because based on age, people think differently. So you want to make sure that the people that are looking and want to purchase your products and services, you're actually making a connection with them and how do they think and what do they want. For content creation, some of the tools that I use is Canva. On here, you're able to create posts for Instagram, posts for Facebook. They're able to provide you with pictures as well, and you can upload your own images as well. If you're looking for particular images, Pixabay is actually a tool that you're able to get free stock photos, which is photos of humans or any picture that you're able to utilize without having to pay for a licensing fee. Again, you also got to understand when it comes to the digital world, because something's online, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's free. If somebody created something and they have some kind of content, most likely they do have licensing on there. And if you were to use it without asking for permission or paying a fee for paying the licensing fee, you're gonna get some kind of information from them asking about this, and it could turn into legal matters. So just make sure that if you are using other people's content, which across the board right now, people are open to sharing their content, just make sure you ask for permission and that you give credit to those creators. Another tool that we use for our email blast is MailChimp. On here, you're able to create your emails, you're able to upload information, name, last name, email addresses for your customers and service for your customers, and you're able to schedule when you want to send out. If on a weekly basis, let's say you have a restaurant and on a weekly you have a special on the menu, at the beginning of the week, you could send an email blast to all those customers. On Friday, we're having this special menu. Come and try it out. Also, Facebook, as you know, Facebook now owns Instagram and they also own WhatsApp. So they have, over the years, they have created a business suite, which on there, you're able to create and upload and schedule content that you want across your social media. So at the moment, Business Suite works specifically just for Facebook and Instagram. So you're able to upload the content that you want on there. You're able to put the caption, and then you could schedule it for 3 days from now, a week from now. They added a feature of a calendar, so they've had certain dates on there providing you with like national holidays or things that are happening within the month, that you're able to create content to keep your customer engaged. When it comes to content creation, it's not always just the products and services that you have. You also want to tie in like what's happening like within the lives of your customers and services. So that's always good. Also Zoom, like we're utilizing right now, another way to engage with your customers is creating these value content to able to provide them with more information and tools and tips in order for them to utilize and to grow. And Later is also another scheduling platform that you're able to use more than just Facebook. On there, you're able to add other platforms such as Twitter. So that's another option. Keep in mind, most of these tools you're able to use for free, but you're gonna be limited on the features that you're gonna be utilized. So you could go ahead, check it out, see what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and make sure you do some research because these are not the only ones out there. There's more that you are able to utilize, and there's still more up and coming ones, and that I want to help more small businesses to make sure that you are getting your product and service out there. And here I'm sharing the top social media networks, Facebook being number one. This is monthly active users globally. So as you could tell, we have billions and millions of people utilizing these platforms. You have a product and services any of these people might want or need. Make sure you're out there making your brand noticeable and making them aware. So, it's about creating, putting it out there, trial and error, making sure that it works. And over time, people are going to resonate with your story. And it's not something that it happens linear, you know, something might work, next campaign might not work at all. But those are the trial and errors that you and your business needs to figure out to make sure like this completely works. We're gonna go with this for the next year. I understand that this is gonna bring me the most growth, and tying in what's working with your conversion of sales. So you know a particular post got a lot of drives and got a lot of likes on there, but did it actually convert it into a sale? Did people actually went and bought that product, or decided to use that service? So just make sure that when you're utilizing social media and the digital channels, that is not only about the likes, which is great, but we want to convert that into actual sales and making those transactions on there. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap it up with effective marketing depends on what you say and how you say it.
Yeah, and I think this information is very helpful. And I was wondering, Nazareth, if, let's say, for example, based on the current campaign that we have, right? So we are launching these credit lines in preparation or trying to help our business community to be ready for the holiday season,
Yeah.
right? So I was wondering, let's say that everything has a cost,
Yes.
right? So for example, in many cases, I can tell that you can reach out to more customers through social media or the different channels that you
Mhm.
explained and presented today. Thank you for that, by the way. Very, very clear and very, very nice. So in what cases would you say that maybe is really relevant, or it will be helpful for a business owner to not necessarily be in charge of all this work,
Yeah.
right? So what would you recommend? Because based on your experience,
Yeah.
right? So what do you recommend as a help
Yeah.
or as a tip?
So I understand as a business owner, you're focused on your business and the bread and butter. And if your business is not marketing and is not being on social media, that's gonna be the last thing on your mind. So make sure you have somebody that could help you. This could be somebody, if you have a child, I mean, across the board, every kid uses social media, some way or somehow. So they're able to know more of the features that are available versus you having to have to learn everything about all these social media. So getting somebody within the family that could want some exposure on how to do marketing and understand more of your business, that would be really helpful. You could tap into interns, talk to like local organizations. You have a lot of the youth that I need and want working experience. And that's one of the easiest way to bring somebody into your team that's able to help you in a way that you might not be aware on how it's gonna affect your business.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's-
also,
yeah.
and also, for example, sometimes when you want to schedule, you have to pay some fees, right?
Mhm.
So if you are trying to reach out to a specific zip code, for example, depending on the location or and the type of business you have, you will have to allocate a portion of budget in order to get that happening.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, some of these tools are free, but some others, and when you want something more detailed and more
Yeah.
specific, you will have to pay for
Yeah,
that because
definitely.
nothing is free in life.
Yeah.
So that will be another component to
Yeah.
consider, right?
Yeah, you could kind of figure out, you could try all these platforms for free. The only thing that I know for sure is you're looking into creating a website, you're gonna have to pay something, even if when it comes to the website creation, you're gonna have to pay for your URL, which is www.yourbusinessname.com. There's a host that has this name that you have to pay on a yearly basis. You have to own it. So that's gonna be a fee to start off from the beginning.
Right. Right.
So it's figure, I think the most, for the most part, when it comes to social media and reaching out to consumers, you're able to pretty much use a couple of platforms for free. But when it comes to the website creation, that's something that you should allocate budget, some money to it, because at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, this is your go-to place. If you have a physical space, anybody that searches for your business, this is the first place that they should be going to, and they should be converting on your website. Versus if you're doing it through another platform, then you have to rely on them. They might be charging you a fee, and like what happened on Monday, Facebook was down and all these other networks were down, and those businesses that couldn't convert and create sales on there were really affected by it. So that's my number one thing is making sure your website is as friendly as possible. You don't have to put everything on there, but like the most core products and services that you have, information that your consumer is gonna want and need, and sharing your story. Like if they're not able to meet you face to face, actually nobody's able to meet with anyone 24/7. But your website is up 24/7, so anybody, any day or time, they could just go on there and see what you have to offer.
Right, and this is part of the branding strategy that you also need to make sure that you have. And all these names may look like overwhelming, and in many cases, our community think, or our community members believe that this is only for big companies, right? But the truth is that every business has the chance to develop their own space in the community, in their market, in the niche of market that you are working for. And I think that's part of the branding. Your website should really represent you, right? So I don't know if you want to share something else, like where to contact you.
I just want to say also, don't get discouraged, because if you're comparing your business to, let's say, Pepsi or one of these big brands, they've been around for hundreds, for 100 year plus. So, your business in 100 years, you might not be here, but your business could be around. So it's just making sure you have like these processes in place, making sure people are aware. And once you have customers, repeating customers coming back and they're happy with you, they're going to tell other people. So word of mouth is really important as well. So keep going.
Yes.
It's hard, but it's worth it.
Exactly. Nothing, and be proud of your initiative, because I think you have to be very brave, especially in times like this, to move on and keep up and keep working and trying to make your business stay open, operational, operative, and also profitable, which is another big challenge, right?
Yes.
So if you want to get more information,
Yes.
they can contact you,
Yeah.
right?
So let's connect. I love to talk about engagement and building strong relationships. If you need any help, I'm here to assist you to the best of my abilities. The best way to contact me is via email, nperez@neighborhoodtrustfcu.org. If you call me here at the branch, 212-740-900, you can leave a message and I will call you back.
Right, and let's take this opportunity also to create more engagement between Neighborhood Trust and our business community, right?
Yes.
Because it would be fantastic if we can develop some sort of list of businesses, right? So maybe something very nice can happen after that. I'm sure we
Definitely, yeah, we could create some kind of a hub for our small businesses.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Lazarus, today. And it will be until next week that we are going to discuss about home ownership. And if you have any questions about credit, or also the credit lines and business loans that we offer, just contact us. Okay, well, thank you. Have a nice day.